My beloved brother, my dear sister, you keep asking Allah to open that door again, to let them come back, to bring back what almost became your forever. But have you ever paused to think, maybe the silence is the answer? Sometimes Allah doesn't just close a chapter. He freezes it completely because He knows you would have kept rewriting the story. Even if it was slowly breaking you, you didn't fail. You didn't lose. You simply loved something too deeply that was never written to stay. And now Allah's whispering to your heart, it's time to let go. I have something far better, but first I need to heal you. You keep asking yourself, why can't I move on? You've cried, you've prayed, you've tried to be strong in front of everyone. But when you're alone, the pain returns. And it doesn't make sense to you because time is supposed to heal, right? But here's something most people won't tell you. This isn't just about moving on. This is about surviving something that shattered you. Not on the outside, but deep, quiet, invisible on the inside. When something or someone breaks your spirit, not in one moment, but slowly over time, it doesn't just leave a wound, it leaves a pattern, a memory inside your nervous system, a heaviness in your chest, a quiet replay in your mind that starts every night before you fall asleep. It wasn't just heartbreak, it was emotional starvation. You gave and gave and gave, not because you were desperate, but because your heart was pure, because you saw the good in them, because you believed if you kept showing up, they'd finally see your worth. You weren't naive. You were just loving with sincerity in a world that often doesn't recognize that kind of love. But what you didn't realize is that while you were busy trying to hold everything together, you were the one breaking bit by bit. You stopped asking for things. You stopped expressing your needs. You lowered your expectations again and again just to keep them close, just to avoid being too much. And now it's over. And everyone tells you to move on. But they don't see what you're carrying. They don't feel what it did to your soul. They don't know how it made you question your own worth. That's why you're still here. Not because you're weak, but because your system is still detoxing. Allah is not delaying your future. He's detoxing your past. He's not just removing the memory of someone. He's pulling out the false stories you believed, that you had to suffer to be loved, that you were too much, that silence was normal, that your feelings didn't matter. He's cleansing your heart, drop by drop, from every moment you tolerated disrespect, just because you feared losing them. And this is not something that happens in a week or even a few months. This is not about forgetting. This is about unlearning. Unlearning the idea that your pain was your fault. Unlearning the belief that if you had done something differently, they would have stayed. Unlearning the habit of putting your needs last just to keep someone who was never written for your future. That kind of detox is deep, it's slow, it's quiet, and sometimes it's lonely, but it's necessary. Because Allah doesn't want you to walk into the next chapter with chains still wrapped around your heart. He doesn't want you to love again while still bleeding. He doesn't want you to rise while still hearing the voices that once broke you. So He pauses your life. He delays the next step. He closes every door, not to punish you, but to protect you from repeating the same cycle with a new face. And I promise you, He hasn't forgotten you. In fact, this delay is proof that He remembers you, that He sees your soul collapsing in sujood at night, that He hears the silent du'as you whisper between sobs. He knows you've been through enough, and He's not going to let you carry that pain into the place where joy is supposed to live. So if nothing is moving right now, if you feel stuck, heavy, tired, don't panic. You are not behind. You are not broken. You are not being punished. You are being purified. And when Allah is done with you, when every hidden bruise has been soothed, when every toxic belief has been undone, when your heart finally stops shaking, He will release you. And you won't just move on. You will rise. You will breathe. You will become someone so rooted in peace that even your past will look back at you with admiration. Just hold on. This part is not the ending. It's the unseen rescue. You're not delayed. You're being rewritten from the inside out. And the story Allah is writing for you now will make you forget the one you cried over. You keep saying, I'm stuck. You whisper it in frustration, in your dua, in the corners of your mind when no one is around. You feel like you're in the same place, like life has paused while everyone else keeps moving. Like you're standing at a door that refuses to open no matter how many tears, how many prayers, how many sacrifices you offer. And I want you to pause here and breathe, because you're not stuck. You're being stopped. There's a difference. Being stuck feels like punishment, but being stopped by Allah, that's love. You see, sometimes we are so focused on what we want that we stop seeing what Allah is protecting us from. We chase something with all our energy. A person, a dream, a job, a plan, convinced that it's the answer to our pain. That if we could just have it, the loneliness would go away. The confusion would end. The sadness would lift. But Allah sees something you don't. He sees what's hidden behind that door. He sees the heartbreak, the betrayal, the darkness, the loss that you're too emotionally attached to notice. And so He doesn't just close the door gently. He stands in front of it, firmly, lovingly, protectively. Not because He wants you to suffer, but because He's trying to save you from a suffering you haven't seen yet. You keep begging Him to let it happen, and He keeps whispering, my servant, if you knew what I knew, you would be thanking me for this delay. There are moments in life when Allah has to block your steps, because if He lets you through that door, you won't come out the same. You'll come out broken, bitter, spiritually numb, and He loves you too much to let that happen. So yes, it feels like nothing is moving, but what's actually happening is divine interception. Maybe that job would have taken you away from your values. Maybe that relationship would have destroyed your peace. Maybe that friendship you're still crying over was slowly pulling you away from who Allah designed you to be. And if He is stopping you, it's because He still sees something sacred inside you. Something that needs to be protected. Something you forgot how to protect yourself. So He steps in, not with noise, not with force, but with silence and closed doors and long pauses that make you wonder if He still hears you. He does. He's not silent because He forgot. He's silent because He's guarding you from walking into something that would have drained you in ways you wouldn't have escaped from easily. You are not stuck. You are being rerouted. You are not behind. You are being aligned. And I know it's hard. I know you're tired of waiting. I know it hurts to want something so badly and feel like Allah is the one standing between you and it. But I promise you, if you could see what He sees, you would fall into sujood in gratitude for the very thing that's making you cry right now. Because sometimes the door you want the most is the one that Allah will never let you walk through. Not because He's cruel, but because what's on the other side would have stolen everything you've been trying so hard to heal. So if life feels frozen, if your plans aren't moving, if your heart feels stuck in the same place day after day, just remember, Allah is not ignoring you. He's standing in front of the wrong door until you're ready to walk through the right one. With peace in your heart, light in your chest, and nothing but trust in your soul. You're not stuck. You're being saved. Even now, even if it doesn't feel like it yet, you think you're just missing a person. But the truth is, you're mourning an entire future your heart had already built. A future that felt so real. You could see it, smell it, feel it in your bones. The conversations, the laughter, the house, the dreams. You saw them by your side. You pictured waking up together. You imagined little moments. A quiet morning with tea. Growing old with someone who knew how your soul worked. You weren't just loving them. You were loving the life you thought Allah had finally written for you. And now, it's all gone. Not just the person, but the picture. That's why it hurts so deeply. Not because of what you had, but because of everything you thought you were going to have. And no one around you fully understands that. They say, just move on. They say, it wasn't meant to be. They don't realize you already lived a whole lifetime with them. Inside your mind, inside your heart, in your secret du'as at night. You thanked Allah for them before they were even yours. You made space for them in your plans, in your prayers, in your peace. And now you're standing in a silent world where every future memory you made has turned into a ghost. That's not easy to let go of. But my dear, listen carefully. Sometimes Allah has to destroy the illusion so you don't end up destroyed by the reality. You thought it was your forever, but Allah saw the cracks. He saw the weight you would have carried alone. He saw the tears you would have had to hide behind smiles. He saw the parts of your soul that would have slowly died while trying to keep something alive that wasn't truly for you. You think you lost your future, but maybe, just maybe, Allah saved your future from being built on something that was already falling apart. You thought it was love, but what if it was only comfort? What if it was only a reflection of a wound you hadn't healed yet? Sometimes Allah gives us a glimpse, not to keep it, but to teach us how deeply we can feel, how sincerely we can love, so that when the one who's truly meant for us arrives, we'll know how to cherish them the way our old self never could. That doesn't mean you didn't love honestly. It means you loved with the level of understanding you had back then. But now, you're changing. You're growing. You're seeing things you were once blind to. And that's painful. Because part of healing is watching the most beautiful story your heart ever wrote get erased, line by line, by the same hand that once held the pen with you. But what you don't see yet is that Allah is handing you a new pen and He's saying, now write again, but this time with me guiding every word. So don't be ashamed of your grief. Don't rush to silence the tears. You're not just heartbroken, you're in mourning. And just like any loss, mourning takes time. It takes gentleness. It takes faith. And one day, you'll wake up and the images in your mind won't sting the same. You'll smile at what once was, because now you will see why it had to be removed. You'll realize the future you lost was never a loss. It was protection in disguise. Allah didn't take your future away. He took away what would have destroyed your future. And that's not rejection. That's mercy. So breathe, grieve, and slowly, quietly open your hands again to the sky, because something better is coming. Not just better, but healed, pure, written just for you. And this time, you won't have to imagine it. It will be real and it will stay. There's a certain ache you feel, and you know exactly the one I'm